Hello, party people, and welcome to another episode of the Mug Life Podcast. I'm Brittany, and for today's episode, I was going to record like a little mini training, and I was going to help you with something, but I kind of have decided to just go rogue, okay? And I've tried to record this podcast like 6 times, and I feel like I just need to talk. I just need to speak to you like you are sitting passenger seat with me. And so today is going to be like a little pep talk, short and sweet, and kind of acknowledging feelings that I bet many of you as moms have, and maybe you don't even know you have them, but I'm here to talk to you and kind of just have a little powwow and just you and I sit over coffee and we chat about it. So cheers, mugs up. Let's dive in. And speaking of mugs, this mug says world's okayest mom. So if you're just listening, then I will read you what the mug says. But world's okayest mom, I think, is hysterical because it's so fitting for me because I'm just kind of a scatterbrain type B mom. And it was a funny gift that Brian got for me on Mother's Day a couple years ago. But all jokes aside, there are multiple times where I have felt like I'm just the world's okayest mom. Like I'm not a good mom, right? And as moms, we question our worth. We question like, am I a good mom? Like, am I giving my kids everything that they need? Am I teaching them what I should be teaching them? You know, maybe if they're in school, you're like, okay, like, are they learning what they should be learning? Am I working with them hard enough? Like, how do they match up with other children? And it's easy to like get in our head and feel like we are just like an okay mom and start comparing ourselves to all the other moms around us. Maybe it's your friends, maybe it's your sister, maybe it's somebody you see here on, social media or a podcast you listen to or a movie you even watch. Like maybe that spirals you, but like it's so easy to get stuck in your head about the things that you do day to day with your children and feel like you're not good enough, right? And I want to acknowledge today that I am a very open person. I'm very raw. I'm very real. I'm unfiltered. I do not use filters like actual physical filters on my face with social media and with, basically anything, because I truly believe that showing up the most vulnerable and real version of myself will create connection, right? Vulnerability creates opportunities for connection, and connection creates change. And so will I have some haters? Probably. Yeah, I will. But it's worth it for me to be vulnerable and to speak up and say things that other people are uncomfortable to talk about, because that means somebody out there, maybe it's you. I hope it's you. I hope you listening, I hope my podcast really changes the game for you as a mom or maybe as somebody who's just like on a health journey who might also be a mom as well. I want you to know that I love you. And I want you to feel like you are worthy of that mom badge, okay? And you are also worthy of living a life separate from being a mom. And just because you're a mom doesn't mean that you can't also be a woman, be a human, be a person, right? And when we are feeling like we're just like, okay, we're not like really spectacular, it's easy to attach that feeling to our self-worth. And so my pep talk to you today is for the mom who thinks to herself, like, I don't feel like I'm a good mom some days. And maybe that's because you yelled at your kids and you hate when you yell, but sometimes you just lose your temper, right? Maybe it's because you didn't get the dishes done. Maybe the laundry is piling up and you just feel like you wish you could just pray to Jesus to like make the laundry go away, right? Like maybe you feel like you don't cook enough healthy meals. Maybe you're worried that they have too much screen time, right? I don't know. There are things that we do that we immediately feel like it's our fault if things don't go the way we plan for it to go, right? Or maybe you're beating yourself up because of the way you look. Maybe you feel like you haven't lost enough weight postpartum. Maybe you feel like you've quote unquote let yourself go. And so the more that we feel like this okay version of ourselves, the more we kind of spiral, and then other pieces of our life begin to feel like it's unraveling, and you just feel like you're constantly trying to rein things in, and it becomes very overwhelming. And so today, it's going to be kind of short and sweet, but this is kind of my pep talk for you if you are feeling like the world's okayest mom. and you are questioning your worth, and you feel like compared to everybody else, all the other moms, all the other women, you're just like not up to par. And I know we may not always feel that way. I know personally, I have days where I feel like the world's okayest mom. And then I have other days where I'm like, I am the best mom ever. Like, oh, I did that. Like, you look over at your kids and you like watch them do something. Maybe they open a door for somebody without being asked, or they order at the restaurant really nicely and please and thank you. And they get a compliment from the server like, oh, wow, you're really polite. Things were like, oh yeah, that's my kid. I did that, right? Maybe they get an A+ on their test or a project you guys worked on together. I just went on vacation. And I remember the whole time I was just watching my kids and my husband. I'm just being so thankful and so happy and being like, oh, I am so proud of myself. I'm a good mom. I did it. We went on a family trip and things didn't go exactly to plan, but we had a really good time and I feel so much more connected to my children, right? We have moments where we feel like we have our shit together. And then there's moments where we don't. And if you're anybody like me, sometimes it might be connected to that time of the month. Personally, when I'm on my period or like the week before, I literally feel like the world is falling apart around me. Like I just can't get it together. I also lose my temper a lot quicker with my kids, and I am like quick to make assumptions, and I also get in my head about things that I do. I'm a little more self-conscious, but with all this being said, if you are somebody that feels like the world's okayest mom, I want you to understand something super important. It's okay to just be okay sometimes. I'm going to say that again. It is okay to just be okay sometimes. You don't always have to bring, the sparklers and the fireworks and, wear the shiny, pretty, beautiful ball gown. Okay. Sometimes you can just roll out of bed in your sweatpants and play trains on the floor with your toddler and drink coffee and hang out all day in the house and just be a potato and it be fine. Right? Those experiences are still memories you are making with your children, and you don't have to go to an aquarium or the zoo or go on a hiking adventure or go to a new place or go to the beach or like buy the fanciest toys to make memories and to know that your children feel loved. Okay. And I bet you if you asked your children, obviously if they're a baby and they can't talk, it's gonna be a little more difficult. But, if you asked your toddler, like, I know if I asked Brian, if I was like, do you know how much mommy loves you? He would probably say, and I'm not kidding you, I gotta put my coffee down for this so I don't spill it. But he would probably say like this much. And if you're just listening on audio, I just took my hands and just like opened them up really, really wide, right? Like he would be like, oh, she loves me this much. Why? Because I tell him all the time, like, hey buddy, guess what? I love you this much. And he says, no, I love you this much, right? Like we sometimes forget our worth because we just want to be so good. And I think that's a great quality. I think wanting to be better and worrying about being good enough means that you're normal. It means that you want to be a good mom, and it means that you are a damn good mom. But I really want to remind you that like some of those mundane, those boring days, those rainy days, right, where you just stay inside all day long and don't do anything, and maybe you just read a couple books or you play on the floor with them, or maybe you're even like doing something like you're cleaning up, but they're like playing on the floor around your feet, right? Like you're still a good mom in those moments, okay? You are. You're also still a good mom when you forget something. Because like, I don't know about you, but have you ever forgot something? Like I know my oldest son, like I will tell him I'm going to do something and occasionally I'll just like space it completely. And he's got to be like, Mom, remember how you told me XYZ? And I'll be like, oh, I'm so sorry. And then like I fix it, right? Like even if you forget something, you are still a good mom. Okay. You're a good mom. Why? Because you acknowledged you made a mistake and then you go and fix it, right? You are a good mom and you need to hear it because we always get in our heads that we just have to be this certain expectations. Like your parenting is like always being watched. You feel like somebody is going to be watching you. And if you don't like do the thing right, quote unquote, right, then it makes you a bad mom. And maybe you don't struggle with this at all. Maybe you feel like the best mom ever, every single day. And if that is you, more power to you. That is amazing. That confidence, keep that fire rolling because you are the best mom ever. But if you are somebody that questions yourself and just really struggles with being a mom and like the identity that comes with that as well, then I also want to remind you of something else. Your identity is not attached to the word mom, M-O-M, okay? You are a mom. You weren't born mom. You were born you, right? You have a life that doesn't include being a mom. Right now, the phase of life you're in, yeah, most of what you're doing is motherhood related, right? Being a mom, it feels like your entire personality right now because maybe your kids are really young. Maybe you have multiple kids in different age, different schools, and you're just running from one soccer practice to the next. You're going to dance class, you're running all over the place. You just feel like your whole life is like a carpool, right? You're just going from one place to the next. You're doing homework with your kid, and then you're cooking dinner for the family, and then you're taking them to swim practice. Like right now, your entire personality does feel like motherhood. But I want to encourage you to start getting curious about who you are separate from that. Okay. And so I promise you this is all going to connect, but truly ask yourself, like, okay, it'd be a fun little activity to get a piece of paper out and just like mom on one side and then write me on the other side and then like a line down the middle. And on the mom side, write down all the things that make you a mom or make you a really great mom and the things that you do daily that feel very mom heavy. And then on the other side, what do I do day to day that feels like it's just me or it's just for me, right? So for example, you might, in the mom section, you might write like, cooking dinner for my family, or you might write practicing math facts with my son, or you might write breastfeeding my baby, like whatever it is that makes you momish. Me, my identity, what's separate from me? Honestly, on one side, it would be the gym, going to the gym and lifting weights. That is my me time. That is for me. Will that ultimately make me a better mom? Yes, because I'm going to be stronger and healthier and happier for my grandkids one day, right? Do I have more energy because I work out and so I can be a better mom? Yes, right? It blends together. But I want you to consider, what are the things that you do for you that are not mom related? Okay. And I hope this makes sense. So another example might be something that I do for me is I have started to really dig deep into creating a more mindful awareness of my thoughts and my behaviors and the way that I act and I give to others. Okay. So this is me taking on responsibility for the way that I feel each day, because I have felt a little bit drained and I feel like I'm a little bit scattered. And so I have taken on the decision to start being more mindful and being aware of where I'm putting out my energy and who I'm giving my energy to. And that is one way that I am taking care of me, right? And so going to the gym and doing that, those are two things that I'm doing just for me because I want to do it for me, right? Another more kind of fun example, I've been exploring my style lately and I've been thinking about how I want to present myself as a woman, not as a mom, okay? I don't go out of the house anymore thinking like, okay, do I look like a mom? Do I dress like a mom? Are they going to judge me for it? No, I'm just exploring my style and my personality. Recently, I don't know if you've noticed, but my nails have been a bright ass color every single time. Every time I get a new color, it's a bright color. It doesn't have to match my outfit. It's just like screams me. I've had neon green, neon orange, bright red. Now I'm not bright blue. I keep coming back to finding ways to really feel me through my life without feeling like that mom side is taking over. Now, this isn't me saying, however, that you should just like not be a mom and avoid mom responsibilities. I guess the point that I'm trying to make here is that exploring your identity outside of motherhood is going to be so beneficial for your mental health that you will soon realize that the happier you are, the more curious you are about the person that you are, separate from motherhood, you are opening opportunities to learn to love yourself for who you are without attaching that pressure of being a mom. And I know that this is kind of a deep subject, but I really wanted to just open this up because I feel people don't talk about it enough. A lot of moms put this pressure on themselves to be perfect and to give their kids like the best life ever. And I'm sure if you're a mom, you have the two same wishes that most moms have for their children, which is that they are healthy and that they are happy, right? Because being healthy and being happy are both just like the dream, right? Like if we can have healthy and happy children, then we're good to go. But of course, creating experiences of joy, aligning our own values with the values that we want to instill in our children, but then also allowing them to decide what matters to them is also important. And so if you feel like the world's okayest mom, one thing I can encourage you to do to help you kind of work through those thoughts would be to explore your own values. What do you truly value in life? What matters to you? What excites you? Like, that's a great one too. What makes me happy? A lot of the times if you ask a mom, what makes you happy? What is the most important thing to you in the world? They're going to say their children, or they're going to say their family. They're going to say something like that. And yes, our children are number one, our husband, our partner, whoever it is. 9 times out of 10, if you ask a mom what one of their main core values is, they're going to say family. All right. But I'm asking you to consider, outside of that, what do you value? What excites you? What like lights a fire up your ass? Like, what really makes you feel like you're living? And if you're somebody who just feels like the world's okayest mom, I would expect that you probably also feel like you're just kind of like going through the motions. And I have days like that. We all have days like that. But I don't want you to live a life where you just go through the motions until your kids are 18 and then they leave and you have an empty nest and you're like, I don't know what to do with my life now. Like, my kids aren't here. What do I do? My kids are my entire life, my entire personality. And now like they're gone. And now what do I do? I'm just going to like lay in their beds and cry. Like, this is like a real thing. There are many women who have that realization. Their kids leave, they go to college, their little baby leaves the nest. That's where this empty nest thing, that's a real thing. You look around and you're like, holy shit. Like, what do I do now? My kids are gone. Like, they were my whole life. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't invest your life and your time and your love into your children. That's not what I'm saying at all. But I am, however, saying that I really think it's important to consider who you are as a person and what you enjoy in life separate from your children. Because the day that your children are gone and out of the house and they're in college and they're out thriving and they're doing all the things that you have loved them and built them up to do, which is so beautiful, what are you doing? I love talking about it because it's making me kind of think about my own life and about what I value and the things that I personally want to remember and look back on and be proud of that I've done and that I've really nurtured throughout the entirety of my life. I don't want to get to, my kids are 18 and they're out of the house and it's just my partner. I don't want to feel like I don't know what to do with my life. I want to feel like I can continue or expand on what I had been nurturing. And maybe you won't be able to do this extravagant hobby or whatever it is you're into, but like, take a painting class. I don't know. Try, buy an easel and start painting. Maybe you or somebody wants to start knitting scarves. Maybe you want to pick up some type of athletic thing like rock climbing or horseback riding, or maybe you take a golf lesson. Think what I like to do, like a fun little I need to drink coffee, obviously. Not activity. What is the damn word? Well, anyways, I can't think what the word is. Think to yourself, when I was a little girl, what did I dream about? When I was a little girl, what did I always want to be when I grew up, right? What did I tend to do in my bedroom? Me personally, I used to pretend that I was on a talk show and my sister and I would dress up and we would have like this huge big whiteboard. We would write the talk show name and then we would do funny skits. I actually wrote a couple plays and my little sister and her friends put on the show. I would write a script. I even created a musical, super cringy. I don't know where that video is. I hope it's in a safe place. Probably on like a little discs or a little, what the heck is that called? Why are words so hard for me today? It's because I'm the world's okayest mom today. I'm just struggle busting, a little brain fog, on a cassette. So anywho, it's probably on a cassette. But yeah, I dreamt about like being on stage, like being a star, right? Being a singer. I wanted to be a movie star. And so maybe for me, that would be trying out for a community play, right? Like, it's kind of fun. I need you to do that right now. I want you to think, you can even push pause on this video and think to yourself, okay, like, what did I do when I was a little girl? Like, what did I dream about doing? Maybe you were like into fashion and you used to like dress up in your mom's clothes, or you put on her lipstick and her makeup and you would do your hair. And maybe you could start a fashion blog. Maybe you could start exploring your own fashion. Maybe you could, read a book about that. I don't know. Like, there's the opportunities there are endless. And maybe that's an opportunity to think like, oh my gosh, I used to love fashion. What am I wearing now? I wear sweatpants like every day. That's not like me. maybe if I changed my outfits and I planned my outfits, even on the days that I was staying in and did my makeup just for fun, I might feel a little bit better. And maybe I wouldn't feel like the world's okayest mom. I'd feel like the world's best mom. And there's something to feeling fulfilled and feeling like you are taking care of yourself so that you are more able to take care of others being your children and your partner and your friends, etc. But I know that it's like that really common phrase, which is like, when you're on an airplane, when the oxygen masks drop down, put your oxygen mask on first and then put them on your children, right? We cannot take care of our children and be present and be like the best mom ever that we want to be if we are constantly doubting our worth and feeling kind of like the meh emoji, right? If we are always feeling like we are second best and we're just not like, we're just on the verge of happiness. We're just kind of moving through the motions. We're kind of complacent. We're just doing day to day, which is easy to do as a mom, right? Because we're freaking busy. We've got so much we're trying to do. We're trying to keep the house clean. We're literally following a toddler tornado as they rip, like the couch cushions are flying. There's cups in your son's room that look like they have curdled milk in them. There's things, we're always just putting out fires. And if we are constantly feeling like we're in this vicious circle of just like waking up, taking care of our kids, going to work, coming home, cooking dinner, doing laundry, waking up, coming home, if we go in this vicious cycle and get stuck in this hamster wheel and we don't allow time for leisure and joy and fun and adventure and excitement that align with our values that are separate from motherhood, but also align with our values and include our children, right? We got to have both. We got to have a balance of both. Instead of taking just a golf lesson, go golfing with your kids, for example, right? If we don't have that balance, it can be easy to lose ourselves in motherhood, right? And motherhood, and I made a post about this on Instagram recently, but I talked about how, nobody scares me more than me as a mom, right? And that sounds kind of like crazy, but what I meant by that is I would fight tooth and nail for my children. Do not come between my children and me because you're going down, right? And I know a lot of other moms feel that same way. We would do anything for our children, right? Even if it's the tough love, like we have to, give them a bedtime and when they're crying and they don't want to go to sleep, we don't give in. We know like what's best for them. We put vegetables on their plate, even though all they want to eat are chicken nuggets and ketchup, but because we know what's best for them. We do the hard stuff. We have the hard conversations. We cry when our children are sad. We feel the feels for them because we're good parents, because we want to do right by our children, but we won't do that for ourselves. Truly. Do you give yourself the tough love that you need? Because if we could learn to love ourselves the way that we love our children, we would be a lot happier and a lot healthier. And I want you to consider on those days where you feel like the world's okayest mom, if maybe a part of that is because you have stopped caring for yourself. You have allowed your worth to be dictated by the fear of judgment from others. And now you're in a position where you're starting to doubt the one thing that you were born to do. Be a mom. And you're damn good at it. You're really good at it. And it's not easy. And there are days where you literally want to bang your head against the wall because they won't take their nap. And you need that nap, right? And there are days you lose your temper. And there are days where you just feel like there's not enough time in the day to get it all done. And there are days where your house is just a mess, but you're just too exhausted to clean it up. I get it. I know, because I've been there. But you got to recognize that you're a good mom. You got to recognize that you are worthy of a life that is happy, that is joyful, that has adventure. Don't get stuck in this world's okayest mom mindset every single day. There's got to be some days where you feel like the best mom ever. And I know it's hard and it's easier said than done, but try to find time for you. And I know it's like, Brittany, really? Find time for me? Are you kidding me? There is no time. And I get it because I was just talking to one of my friends about this, like there's not enough time in the day. And I made a podcast about that a couple podcasts back, but we have got to. We've got to. You would do it for your kids. If they needed that, if you knew that they needed 5 minutes to themselves every single day, you would make it happen, right? Because we love our children, because we would do whatever, we would move mountains. We would do anything we had to do to get them what they need, right? And you've got to do that for yourself. So if you're feeling depleted, if you're feeling like an okay mom, and you're feeling like you're just not doing a good job, that might be a reflection of the mindset that you have about yourself as a person, right? And so if that means needing some time, 5 minutes, there are so many different ways to get 5 minutes. That's it, 5 minutes. 5 minutes with yourself. And I know sometimes for me, that's taking a shower. I really don't want it to be something that should be just like a part of living, like brushing your teeth, taking a shower, going to the bathroom, right? Like there's always this like ongoing joke about like the only me time moms get is when they're going to the bathroom, right? And sometimes they have those little fingers like underneath the doors and they're like, mama, right? I don't want your me time to just be those times. Although if you want to enjoy your shower, you know, if it's like an everything day shower, when I say everything, you know, like wash your hair, shave your legs, all that, those showers are the best because they're a little bit longer, right? We actually have a lot of really great thoughts in the shower because we don't have any screens or other stimulation. It's just the water hitting our bodies, right? It's really actually a meditative time to think and reflect. I'm getting a little sidetracked there. But finding time for you is essential because if we do not have time to be mindful and reflect and think and digest our own thoughts and be present in the moment with how we're feeling and why we're feeling it, things can kind of like fly under the radar. If that happens, that's when we have more days than not that we just feel like an okay mom. Okay. And so I challenge you to think, how can I get time for myself? How can I get in 5 minutes? That's it. Literally, like if you could just like set a timer for 5 minutes, where can you find that in your schedule? And those 5 minutes can be anything. It could be 5 minutes of drinking your coffee before your kids wake up. That has been my like favorite thing. Last couple of days, I have not woken up early enough for that. Regretting it, but you know, it is what it is. But waking up just 5 minutes before everybody else, get your coffee brewing, just sitting on your couch when the lights are still dim and you're just drinking your coffee, you're reflecting, you're just thinking about your day, and then get into full mom mode, right? Maybe it's 5 minutes at the end of the day when all the kids are in bed and you're reading a book or you're drinking your tea or you're doing whatever evening ritual that you have. Maybe that's it, right? But think about something that excites you though. I really encourage you to think about that childhood you. Like what would make your life more exciting and more fun in that me category, right? How can I change my day to day so that I'm getting a little bit of me in there and I'm not feeling like all I am is a mom, right? And like my entire existence is just motherhood. And once again, it's hard and it's so much easier said than done because it is hard. Like we are constantly with our children. We are constantly surrounded by their needs. They are always needing us. They always do what mom. They always, and that's a really good feeling to be wanted and needed by our children. But you need you. You do, whether you know it or not. And so I'm hoping that this podcast kind of like opened your eyes and your ears and your soul. And you're like, okay, I need to reflect about how I feel about me. And on those days that I feel like I am just like an okay mom, is there something deeper? Is there something more to it? Why do I feel like my worth is attached to, the things that I can't give my children? Or maybe you can't afford to do certain things, or, maybe you don't have the fanciest car or the fanciest clothes or, whatever it may be. Like, why does that matter to me? And I think you might find that it's not something that you value. And in fact, it's something that you are worried that other people value around you and you fear judgment by not doing those things, right? And I also just want to acknowledge that it's okay to have a bad day. It's okay to like go to your friend and just vent to them and be like, God, I feel like the worst mom ever. Like I can't get my shit together. That's okay. But I don't want you feeling like you're in this rut. Like you've lost you've lost your identity in motherhood because it's so easy to do. And motherhood is so romanticized. Motherhood is like beautiful and pretty and like happy and oh, like it's so much like the movies romanticizes motherhood, but it's like, I want to talk about the ugly shit. Like I want to talk about like the nitty gritty, like the stuff where people don't want to talk about, where you cry because you look in the mirror and you hate the way your body looks. You're so thankful for your kids, but you're like, I feel like a stranger in my body. where you squeeze your skin between your fingertips and you're like, who is this? What is this? I don't even know what I'm feeling right now. Why can't I work out? Like, why can't I make it to the gym? What's wrong with me? Right? Like, we go through these spirals. Or maybe you're somebody who's like, you know, just completely consumed with motherhood that you feel like you're losing your relationship with your partner. And you're like, I don't get it. There used to be butterflies. Like, we used to be so in love. And like, I just look at him and I'm annoyed, you know? And it's so easy to get kind of lost or lose pieces of yourself along the way. And motherhood is about sacrifice, and there is sacrifice involved. Sometimes we lose friendships. I can't tell you how many friends I've lost connection with, which really it's on me, right? Like, and it's on them too, but I could put in the effort, but it just feels like there's so much going on, and it's easy to, like, hate to say it, it's easy to make excuses and be like, well, it's just like, once I had kids, it's like, we just fell apart. Like, we were both busy doing our own thing, right? And that's okay. But it's important to recognize that these things falling apart and things that we lose it's not our fault. But we have the power to decide what we value and what's important to us and what makes us happy. And we can mend those disconnects, right? We can ask ourselves, you know, how do I reconnect with my husband or my partner, right? What's something that I can do to communicate that? Maybe he has no idea. You know, what's something I can do to make myself feel better about my body? And how do I improve my body image? And maybe that's something, you know, as simple as just like committing to a walk every single day, because you know that walk is a commitment in the direction of your health. And maybe it's something where you have, like I said, like the fashion thing. Maybe you just feel like all you wear is sweatpants. So start putting on some blue jeans. And if blue jeans trigger your body image issues, then start buying bigger blue jeans. I know that sounds crazy, but like, wear clothes that are comfortable. Don't quit trying to squeeze yourself into like the pair you wore 10 years ago. Like, just buy clothes that fit you, that feel comfortable, right? And that's a great podcast episode talking about body image. But, you know, maybe you're somebody in motherhood who feels like you've just given yourself completely to your children and to your partner and to your family, and you just feel like there's nothing left for you. Maybe you need, you know, to go get your nails done. You know, sometimes we got to spend a little money on ourselves, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Maybe you need to go get yourself a latte instead of a coffee, right? Like, that you make at home. And this isn't something we have to do like every single day, but like giving yourselves moments of joy, like little pieces of joy that make you feel good and that make you feel like you are more than just like a mom slave, then more power to you. Go do it. Why not? And I guess the biggest point here, and a lot of this podcast has been very like ranty, like I've just been kind of talking about this, and I don't really have like all my other podcasts, I have this like proven point. Like, I have this thing I'm going to give you, but I can't give you confidence. I can't give you a plan. I can't give you a protocol for how to feel like a good mom. But I can tell you, as a fellow mom, that I have days too where I just don't feel good enough. I don't feel pretty enough. I don't feel like my life is as exciting as I want it to be. I have shame and I have guilt around that sometimes too, where I just feel like I need to be more thankful. But I want to be that person that sits beside you and like grabs your hand and holds it, or like squeezes you and hugs you if you're a hugging person, and tell you that you are doing such a good job. You really are. And it's okay that your pants don't fit right now, but you can make changes so that they do. And it's okay that you feel like you've lost a part of you, because you can get that back. It's totally possible to find that you've been missing. And what's really cool is once we start like finding that spark again and like showing up for ourselves and like doing the things that we need to do for us on like a personal level, as just like a woman, as a human in the world, like things that really nurture us and fill us up like we do our children, then that's going to trickle over into your children's lives, right? Do you want your children to watch you be unhappy and just kind of like once again, like I just pictured like the meh emoji, like all your life? Do you want them to look at you and and just see you drained and unhappy, or, not see you making connections with your partner? Or do you want to have them watch you show up every day for yourself and do things that make you happy? Because you're going to start wearing it. Like, when you are happy and you feel fulfilled and you feel like you're making connections with your core values and you're doing the things that you enjoy, you literally glow. You just carry your body differently. You will dress differently. You will talk differently. You will interact with other people differently. And I bet you will parent differently if you feel good, if you feel better. And that's why, honestly, as a health coach, as a nutrition and fitness coach, I am so committed to helping moms, because our health, our body image, our health goals, the attention that we give to our health goals, strength training, eating foods that fuel us but also allow us to have experiences, stopping restriction. When women start prioritizing their health and their happiness, it starts to bleed into everything else in their life. Just like taking walks daily. I had one client that said to me, "Oh my gosh, I did not realize how just walking would make me feel. I just feel so much less foggy and I feel so much more alive and I feel physically just so much better." And when we feel good, good things happen, right? Like, when we feel good, we bring in positive energy. And when we eat nutritious food and we learn how to fuel our bodies and we start strength training, we start like noticing our muscles getting bigger and we're feeling stronger and we have more energy. All of that is so important. And if we don't take care of ourselves, how are we supposed to take care of our children? So this is your sign to start exploring you, to get curious about you, and to go find joy and excitement in your life. So if you're feeling like the world's okayest mom today, I hope this podcast was helpful. And I hope that you go run and do something for you right now. Sending you so much love, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.